phone readings.
She's the real deal. Check her out.
Thank
So let's
you.
set this intention. Let's go, Michael and Beth and Dawn. Let's set this intention.
Absolutely. How shall we do this? Michael, you want to help?
Yeah, am I live right now with video and audio?
You're
yes,
live,
yes.
brother.
Welcome, welcome.
Great. Well, yeah, I liked what you said about the positive thinking thing, and the way I roll with that is you always use your mind to the best of your ability. That means before something negative has happened, you maintain with absolute authority that something positive is going to happen. However, if a negative manifestation does happen, you don't stick your head in the sand or ignore it. You acknowledge what is, and then tune to it and use energy and intentions to make it better. But before something is, you never go into fear. You always stay and radiate like the highest intentions. Like that hurricane, the major hurricane that was ripping up Florida. I'm on the Panhandle, and it looked like it was going to hit us. And I didn't flinch, not for 1 second did I say, oh my God, we might have to evacuate or this. I just held my ground and perfectly just said, no, I don't believe it. I don't believe it's coming here. However, if it would have gotten right on my doorstep and they would have issued an evacuation, I wouldn't be sitting in my house going, it's not going to come, it's not going to come, But always use your mind to the best of your ability to manifest before something actually happens. So in terms of this, what I like to do to help, see, it's not just intentions, it's intentions plus energy, plus how much spiritual or source energy you can channel and radiate towards the actual thing that you're working on. So I like to set good intentions and then go very deep into my heart core where I find the strongest source energy is, and add that energy to the intentions, and then that echoes out into the collective and becomes events in space and time. Like what we feel as spiritual energy, as emotional energy deep within us, this is the energy that actually becomes space-time events. I've actually been able to see it happening, with clairvoyance, see this energy radiate outward and become events in space and time. So I, very confident in its efficacy.
Did I tell you this is going to be an unbelievable show? That's just remarkable what you just said,
That's
Jesse. Come on.
completely.
Michael, you're unbelievable. Go ahead,
Is
Beth.
there any chance you can take us through just, with us here in our collective energy to be able to send something out now on the spot?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yep.
That would be wonderful.
Let's roll, Michael.
Okay.
Take us there, as I say in the song.
Okay. Well, I'll give a very brief explanation of what makes this possible. You were talking before about how that we're all one, that we're all connected in that way, and there's many different levels or layers of how that connection happens. There's one way of looking at it, which is a third and fourth dimensional level of connection, and that is connection through space. And that means that we have radiative spiritual energy coming out of our bodies and out into the world. So in a third and fourth dimensional way, we are all connected on a great web of energy. Then there's the fifth dimensional way that we're connected, which is an inside-out connection. In fifth dimension, you reside in the source energy at the center of all experience, and everything is arranged in a quantum layer. So fifth dimensionally speaking, we all exist within each other's being. And the reality that we're experiencing that says we're miles apart, we're separated all over the globe, is merely our consciousness examining a slightly different range and vibration. So you guys are in that room there in Atlanta, I'm in this room down here in the Panhandle in Florida, but the truth is we're right on top of each other in the same radiant fifth dimensional spiritual energy. We're just examining a slightly different vibration, and it's painting a space-time picture to our consciousness.
Separation.
Yeah. That's
So what I like to
unbelievable.
do is to shift my consciousness out of the third and fourth dimensional perspective, go into the fifth dimensional perspective, and when I do that, I literally feel every person that's currently doing this with me within my being, and everybody has a different quantum location. Like some people will be closer to the heart, some will be up here by the head, out here to the left, right. I'm sure Beth knows what I'm talking about, because I'm sure she does this to tune into people psychically from a distance, where she's just able to feel them within her being and then get pictures and imagery and sounds and whatnot. So yeah, I use that. But my skills lean a bit different. As energy workers, it always goes one of two different ways. People either excel at psychic skills, informational skills, or they excel at telekinetics, healing, and both sides can do both abilities, but you always lean in one direction. Some people are really good at getting information, and some people are really good at using like power to change things, like to move objects or to heal physical bodies and whatnot. And like I said, both sides can do both, but I'm not very psychic. I can feel the energy perfectly, but I don't get pictures. I don't get words. I don't get imagery from it. So what I'm going to do is go into that fifth dimensional perspective. And as I do that, I can feel everybody that's tuning into this meditation within. And from there, I open up the heart, which has a lot of love, basically. And the force of love manifests physically as gravity. So when I open up the heart, it allows other people to come closer within their own heart, their own self, and it makes them far more likely that they're able to actually feel the energy that we're tapping into. Then once I feel like we've all got a solid group connection in this way, then we radiate. We just hold the intention and radiate it together, and then it's like set and forget. No different than if you're baking something in the oven. You want to do it with the confidence of, okay, 350 degrees for 30 minutes. When I come back, this pie is going to be perfect. Once it's sent out, you can't go. If you have a little bit of doubt, it collapses the whole thing. So you put it out, you set and forget, and with the same confidence you would baking a pie for 30 minutes at 350 degrees.
I was just thinking set and let,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to have the faith that it worked and let it go and let it do its magic. I can feel it already, Michael. Already. I can feel this energetic, it's almost like electricity pulling all of us in together. Now,
Exactly.
wow.
Yep. With the fifth dimensional perspective, I'm viewing it as though I'm the center,
Yes.
and would be drawing everybody into my heart center. But fifth dimensionally speaking, it's the same exact thing for everybody else. So in essence, by me magnetizing and pulling everyone closer to the heart, it ends up pulling them closer into their own heart, because we're all sharing, like we all have a fifth dimensional radiant sphere of energy, and I'm connecting that and pulling everybody closer to the center of their own sphere of energy in that way. So if you want to get right to it, it doesn't take very long.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, I want everybody to have their feet planted firmly on the floor, about shoulder width apart, hands resting comfortably in the lap. You just don't want the hands or feet touching, because that closes a circuit. You want it to be open. It makes it easier for us to all connect. And then I want everybody to close their eyes and literally lower your mind into your heart. The human experience has taught you that your mind is your brain, and your body is controlled by the brain, so on and so forth. We got to get rid of that distinction. Your entire body is your mind, and you actually think and feel from various parts of the body all the time. So what I want you to do is to take any presence that you're holding within your head space and just let it drop down into the heart space. A good visual that I like to use is that your chest is like a warm frying pan and your head is like a stick of butter. So
I
just
love
start
that.
to let it melt right down into the chest. And just deep, regular breathing. Maybe like roughly 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, but don't time it, because then you'd be thinking too much. And it's okay if thoughts come. It takes a lot of training to still the busy mind, but I want you to imagine that your thoughts are coming from the center of your chest instead of from within your head. And you can actually think a thought there on purpose if you want, right there in the center of your chest, and that'll magnify your presence there. Now, as this is happening, I'm there in the center of the heart, and I can feel it as each person tunes in and taps in, because the level of energy and connection that I feel increases because our spiritual energy is overlapped. It's like when you take two candle flames and put them together, they become one flame of an even greater size. That's what we're going for here, is to create one giant flame of radiant spiritual energy that we can manifest with. Okay, so I've been in the core, in the very center of the heart space, and now what I'm going to do is expand my consciousness outward to to find people that might be having a harder time connecting in and tapping in. And as I do, I just open up the gravity chute a little bit wider to pull you into your own central heart energy. So I'm going to go quiet for about 30 seconds and really enhance this. Now, it's not critical for the ego consciousness necessarily to be feeling all of these sensations, but if it is able to, it does amplify the magic a pretty good amount. So what I'm going to do to make this connection more apparent to either people that are already feeling it or haven't felt it yet is while we're connected as one in this spherical energy, I'm going to start to move my own energy. I'm going to be rocking my body back and forth to the left and to the right. And you'll literally feel me moving through your being. You'll feel a little bit of pressure or a little bit of tugging within your heart space, within your shoulders, arms, etc. It's almost like I become a spirit moving through your body. And then once you feel that motion, that gives your consciousness a better lock on to enhance the connection that we have together as a group. And just in case you thought you were hallucinating that, I'll start rocking forwards and backwards instead. Okay, now I'm just going to recenter and enhance our connection one last time before we radiate the intentions. Focus on letting go. This is entirely a passive meditation at this point. Okay, very, very good. That helped a lot of people get there. Okay, now while I hold this connection together and continue to enhance it, one of you guys go ahead and speak the intentions.
I'd like to set the intention that everyone that's been affected by the earthquake in Iraq-Iran border, that they receive immediate help and assistance, that they feel the love that we're projecting, that everyone has around them, and that they can hold on to their physical bodies as long as possible until rescuers can find them. I also ask that they are able to have supplies and food and water, connections to their family, to anything that survives the earthquake that can sustain their life and then pull their families together. I'd like to set the intention that anyone that's been hurt, that healing is immediate, 100%. And for those that are no longer in their bodies, that they know they're with them as well, and that they continue to assist them from outside of their bodies. And I pray for and ask for the intention of communication and open assistance without borders. And I say that to be as it is, all that it is right now.
Amen.
Amen.
Wow, that was powerful. You know, I think, honestly, when you start combining, and Michael's an extremely powerful man in the sense of his energy work he does, and Beth, you're extremely powerful in the sense of your abilities and what you do. It's almost like you guys like the perfect tag team, aren't they?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So what I was saying before about the two different directions energy
Yeah.
workers go, I've come up with labels for it just for the sake of communication. And I call people that lean towards the psychic side, I call them light-based. And people that lean my direction, I call them grounders. And what a grounder specializes in is channeling a tremendous amount of energy into a singular space. What a light-based person specializes in is clarity within that energy. They can see things, they can direct it certain places better than a grounder can, because I'm sitting here, holding massive amounts of energy. If I had to see and hear what I was seeing, I would lose my mind. So,
Yeah,
so
and
these
I was
abilities
seeing
like
it. Yeah.
complement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could never do that and still hold that level of energy. So,
Yeah.
it's like a reason we're here to complement each other. But a grounder is very powerful working with a light-based person if there's a bond level, if there's like a trust.
Yeah.
Because it's actually easy for the grounder to get taken advantage of, because we
Right.
can't see what it is. So we can meet a light-based person, think we've established a good partnership, and they can be, dancing circles around us,
Right.
using our energy for wherever the hell they want, and
Yeah.
not giving anything back.
Well,
But yeah, when there's a good heart-based level of trust, it gets very powerful when the two work together.
Well, I felt a huge shift. I don't know about anyone else, and I think you did too, Michael. But when you said this is a passive meditation, I just immediately just
go.
said, let go, that this is to let you do the work, and just to go back, to stop trying to control it or be a part of it and just to let go. And for
Right.
me, that was a huge shift. I'm sure you felt it. And then
Yep.
so then it just became more, like you said, more clairvoyant, like like witnessing what was happening.
This is amazing stuff, Dawn and Michael and Beth, because we just got back, and I think this is probably where we could probably go with this. We just got back, Michael, from the Doctors Rock, the Get Your Life Back Now, the integrative medicine, the powerhouses of world-renowned doctors who are using Source to heal, not just their integrative, naturopathic, homeopathic, holistic perspective. And so there's this healing, and Daniel Brinkley, which most of you all know, he wrote back in 1996, and I'm paraphrasing it, but the quote was basically, the heart and minds of humanity, the soul of humanity will be fought on the field of healthcare. Meaning, back in 1976, today, healthcare will be the awakening for humanity to waken up to their power within, their power to source, their power that they've given up over to mankind, other people in our human experience. So here we are. We're experiencing this, and see, and I was at this. I mean, unbelievable. I had people like Dr. Andy Wakefield, Dr. Mercola, Joe Mercola, Dr. Cowden, Dr. Pops, people from Vienna, all over the world. 300 people were in this gala, hundreds of doctors who are just making a difference, who are not getting the actual attention that they deserve, the positive and accolades they should deserve, which we did that night, and Get Your Life Back training. However, looking at integrative medicine, you got the allopathic model, right? And now we have the integrative medicine, which is next step to bring it back into our medical model. But when it comes to healing, all healing is from within. And it seems like even the integrative model is actually a limited model in the sense, because we're giving power over to maybe not pharmaceutical drugs, but we give power over to supplements or herbs or things like this,
Same
right?
thing. Yeah.
So almost inevitably, what you and Beth are doing is we're establishing perhaps maybe a new paradigm of integrative health or new paradigm of healing. And I would call it maybe spiritual medicine or next leveling up integration. And I want to curious about both of you guys. You could jump in at any time, either or Michael or Beth. But do you see this leveling up in our spiritual world of incorporating our spiritual source and connection into the healing medium of our model of healthcare today?
Big time. And for one, like unlike a lot of spiritual healers, I think modern medicine is a straight up miracle. And I use it, and I always recommend people using it in conjunction with spiritual healing. Too often I see people thinking that they can just drop the doctor and go entirely energy or entirely spiritual. But the truth is that our consciousness has been ingrained in that system for so long that we're going to have to slowly, wean ourselves off of it. And until we master physical level energy, we're going to need it for broken bones, surgeries, certain things that we can't quite do very often with energy. It's very rare that a physical level, miraculous happening, like a bone mending or an open cut sealing itself. I've seen it, but it's very rare. It's integrating, and it's integrating nicely. I believe in the near future, as this spreads, people are going to understand that before something happens physically, it happens spiritually. So the
Absolutely.
biggest part of energy healing is getting your mind right, getting your beliefs right, getting your energy right that you hold within yourself. And that's done through cleaning work, through either cleaning your own energy, or having somebody help you that knows how to do it. But once you get the internal right, the external just sort of tends to be right too, because it starts within and then it manifests as events in space and time. So the more healthy you are internally in your mind and your heart and your energy, the more space-time events in your life that you're going to experience that are going to reflect that good health. And so there's people, that offer these services. I offer them, and the big thing that I do is teach people how to do it for themselves.
Absolutely.
But I certainly help people to do that until they're able to do it. And quite often we're able to do physical level healing. I've been doing healing work for 7 years now, and just to go over a few, and I say these not to brag, but to give people confidence that, of how powerful it can be. I've fixed deaf people. I had a guy in Thailand who couldn't hear out of his right ear, and he did a session with me. He comes back a week later just all excited. We did a session over Skype, and he's got a doctor's report, a printout of how he can hear out of his right ear. Something about decibels, like he could hear but only really loud sounds like 80 decibels or higher. And after he did the session with me, he's showing me a printed report from his ear doctor showing him hearing at 40 decibels. We did another one, and he comes back the next week even more excited with a report showing that he can hear at 20 decibels. We never quite got his hearing perfect, as good as the left ear, but that when I left him, it was almost there. So he was almost completely deaf in the right ear, and now he can hear good.
Do you
I've
consider,
had,
Michael,
go
do
ahead.
you guys consider that, and Beth too, do you guys consider that part of the emotional work that people, because one of the things that they do now in integrated medicine, it's a new aspect that's developing, is called recall therapy.
Yes.
Where you actually are, the premise is all physical ailments are manifested from suppressed or repressed emotional
I was
feelings.
about to say
right?
that. Yeah.
So, and so you're saying, Michael, and Beth, you could
Yeah.
chime in too. So really, you got to be preventative care. Integrated medicine is
Right.
preventive care. You got to address this before, as it's an emotional issue, before it becomes a physical manifestation.
Well, yes, but we also have a lot of unconscious thoughts that can cause and manifest illness in us as well that we don't identify.
Subconscious,
Subconscious,
which runs
yeah.
the show.
Yeah. So, just because we can control some of the things that we're aware of emotionally, there's also a whole nother level internally at your soul level that you're not aware of, and then later it's almost like hindsight. You find out, because I'm like Michael, I've seen so many spontaneous healings right in front of my eyes. It just becomes an awareness of what may have been behind that. What was the trigger that caused that illness? And I've literally seen, and I'm like him, it's not to brag because it's not my work. I think it's universal work. But I've seen
God's work.
Yeah, it's simply as, things like, somebody's had chronic pain in their neck forever. I mean, for years and years and years. And when we get down to the nitty gritty of why do they feel this pain in their neck? Why do they feel the weight of the world on their shoulders? What part of their childhood, what part of even being born into their family made them feel this strain on their neck? And when they sometimes just simply acknowledging it is almost powerful enough, and I've seen it powerful enough that it literally spontaneously heals them on the spot and it is gone. Now, yes, like Michael says, there are some things that manifest into our body physically that may take more modern medicine and more different procedures to help undo the damage, because we are a physical body and we do cause some damage. Sometimes it takes more work.
But isn't that the
But-
knowing, though? Isn't it knowing, like when you sync your subconscious beliefs, your subconscious intention with your conscious intention, when there's a knowing of definitely it's going to happen,
Right.
you can have that spontaneous healing, whether it's physical, but just that 30,000 times more powerful our subconscious mind is than our conscious mind. So if there's any doubt on that intention or whatever you want to heal, it's not going to manifest in
Well,
that direction, right?
I personally don't think healing can happen without it.
Yeah.
I think it's just as much of a component as medicine or herbs would be. the healing has to be on the emotional range
because
as well.
you give that herbs, that whatever,
Yes.
the power to
Right.
heal,
Right.
So you're giving it
Absolutely.
power, so you may have 50% belief, and then you give the other 50% to equal 100% to the other herbs or whatever it
Yeah.
may be, or we have, most of the people give it to the doctor, the
Right.
allopathic doctor. So but there seems, when things are healed, it's a belief it's going to heal.
Yes.
On a subconscious and conscious
Yes.
level. Michael,
Yes.
you think that's something to that?
Well,
Absolutely, and I'll back what Beth said. Emotional energy is more powerful than belief.
right.
Belief is mental plane, mental energy, which is a lighter density. So it's not as compressed, it's not as real. It's real, your thoughts are real,
Right.
and clairvoyance, like me and Beth, can actually see the energy that your thoughts create. But the emotional energy runs deeper. It's thick like water,
Right.
whereas thoughts are thin like air. So if you really want to affect change, you've got to tap into the emotional level energy. And I think this is a big part of why the Christian faith healers, the Jesus people, pull off some pretty extreme stuff from time to time, because it's a very emotional
It
paradigm.
is. And it's the
You know.
root, it's the root cause. So for you just to sit here and say, I believe that my finger is going to feel better. It's going to feel better. It's never going to hurt again. That's not enough, Tim. You've got to know why your finger hurts. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to get to the root of it, the seed of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember that I shared with you when I first met you that I had a vision a couple of years ago about the healthcare situation.
Yeah.
And that I felt like people like Michael and myself and all the light workers that I've met, that it's really our job to teach people how to empower themselves and how to heal themselves and how to help heal other people. And sometimes you need people like Michael and I to help integrate them and help them realize there's an emotional component, and then we can release that to them and they can start that healing and they can share that. But in my vision a couple of years ago, I remember seeing that modern medicine or the more expensive hospitals may not actually be accessible to everyone. So we're all going to need to pitch in and help each other more, not just with integrative and holistic medicine, but actual emotional healing and healing work. That's going to be our future, to pitch in and help each other have babies, help each other pass, help each other heal, and that it's going to take millions of people to do this work. So that's why there's such a big push to do it now. We got to go to a break real quick. And Michael, when you get back, I haven't even read your bio, and I would love to do that. And I'd like to hear your input on what I just said. So we'll be back.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and we're back with Michael Monk. And if you just heard that commercial, donations are welcome. We need to do that again. We did a great job at the gala in Orlando, but we need some more donations. So
Doctors
thank you
who
guys.
rock.
Yes. So we're back with Michael Monk, and if you've been listening to the show, it's so powerful. And if you are just now tuning in, I encourage you to go back on the archives and listen to it from the beginning, because I don't know about you guys, but the energy in here is like my heart's about to pump out of my chest.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
that
incredible.
grounding energy work Michael
Yeah.
Monk does
Thank
from
you,
Florida.
Michael.
I know, right?
And Beth's amplification of it.
Thank you.
And my whole body's exploding.
Really? I know. I feel like my heart is like about to come out of my throat. But Michael Monk has been taught that when we as a race are united as one, I thank you, I believe that, and that we'll be able to mentally shape our world and our bodies. That the next stage of evolution is a conscious step that we take. And I'll add too, and I know he believes that it's also a decision, embracing our destiny to move past creaturehood and into creatorhood. We will consciously and purposefully take the next step into a higher, greater density of soul energy and finally become universal beings. I can believe, thank you, Michael. I preach on, I agree. The end goal of the Avatar Energy Mastery Institute is to teach humanity through a unique school setting how to form a global collective consciousness. Wow. So if you want more information on this Avatar Energy Mastery Institute, which I'll let Michael say a couple things about real quick, because this is something I hadn't heard of yet, so I'm just now reading it. Visit his website at www.avatarenergymastery.com /Michael_Monk. For more information on how you can manipulate energy and healing. And Michael, is there any other way you want to tell them how to reach you, and also tell them about the Avatar School real quick before
Sure.
we go back to our
Yeah.
topic?
First of all, with the web address, you can go to avatarenergymastery.com or avatarenergymaster.com. They both go to the same place. You can also find me on Facebook. I'd be happy to friend you there. Just type in Michael Monk, and I'm the guy with the avatar banner. Yeah, I'm easy to find. So I
Go ahead,
go
Michael.
ahead.
I was going to say one thing real quick, and you can finish that thought. I want to give kudos and really a gratefulness and love to Dawn here, because Dawn's actually the person not only brought Michael Monk in for me to meet to, but also Beth right here. So if you think about it, Dawn,
Dawn.
I know.
you're brought you. If without
Yes.
you, this experience would be happening right
No.
now.
It's very powerful for me to be a connector, and I'm happy to serve that way.
I
So-
really appreciate it. I'm
Well,
so
well, you
grateful
s-
to you. And
you
look,
serve
you're
it
wearing
very
your,
well.
You're wearing
Yeah.
your red today, your
Yeah.
power color.
Yeah.
No coincidence.
Yeah.
Don, I am so grateful to you. I don't know how to ever repay you. Thank you.
Well, it's we're all here for a purpose and work,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to serve and make the connections. And I'm so excited, Michael, about the show that you're going to be doing
Yes.
as well.
Me
So
too.
Yeah.
seeing
Can I
it
be a
grow.
guest? Can I be a guest?
Well, Dawn, I mean, I think you're expanding. What I hear, maybe it's not true, but hopefully it's true. That you're expanding and producing some other shows for us here, aren't you?
Well, I get ideas.
All right.
I feel like I'm an open channel and receiver, and
You are. You are.
I continue to get ideas like Beth and Michael, and
No
we'll
pressure,
grow.
but just
No,
take it as it
absolutely.
take it as
Yeah,
it goes. You
yeah.
know,
Grow and
pick up
evolve.
every show.
Absolutely. Michael, I'd like to get back to what we were talking about the healing and about our, our jobs as humans, I guess, in helping each other. If people didn't hear it, go back and listen. What is your take on that, Michael?
Well, as things come to the surface, as we continue along in our evolution, it spreads like contagion, because we are all connected in that way. So as one person activates their internal energy, expands their consciousness beyond the body, which is a big part of what I teach at the school, you begin to activate and enlighten other people by proxy. I'm sure you're familiar with this already, Beth, and I probably said it, but I'll say it perhaps in a different way. When we, as an activated energy practitioner, energy master, I don't really like that term so much.
Yeah.
I'm sort of steering away from it.
I understand.
Energy practitioner, we come into a room, we can see everybody's energy and see how it's connected. We can see them bouncing off of each other with their thoughts and with their emotions, completely unaware that they're affecting each other. They all think they're in their own little private bubble, and they're not, But we're able to tune into that and change things. We can light up a whole room like nothing. We can just see their auric energy and just turn it up a notch, or change it to a slightly more harmonic frequency. Or if we see discord between two, we can build a bridge of harmony. And what we do is beyond the range of perception of anybody that hasn't trained their consciousness. And so all they know is that they feel better. All they
Right.
know is that they're happier when this
Right.
person is around, if they even notice that detail.
Right.
But yeah, you become a very powerful force for change and healing. You become a healer everywhere you go, just by proxy, just by sharing your energy. Because the same type of presence that a normal person has within their body, we have out here.
Right.
And that's how I do all of my demonstrations, where I move the wind, where I make the clouds disappear, change the weather and things like that, because I have mental conscious presence beyond my electrical system of my
Right.
body. See, what we are is consciousness. You're not your body. You're also not the spiritual energy that propels the body. I mean, you are. You're all of
Right.
these things, but
Right.
primarily you are consciousness. You are self-awareness that's capable of fusing itself with any form or any energy. When you're not in your form, you typically express yourself as radiant spiritual energy. But what you do is, or what happened when you became human, was you took that free-flowing, morphogenic, energetic consciousness and you locked it. You fused it tight into the central nervous system of the human body, and you threw away the key. So here you've been stuck inside of here thinking this is what you are, because you're forced to perceive through the fixed vibrational range of the five senses. Well, one day, as you discover energy work and higher consciousness, you can use that consciousness that's currently locked inside there to expand the range of the senses, and then to break free, to actually gain enough force within yourself to project past the nerves, and then you're out here. and you
Absolutely.
feel it all as a part of your body. You can actually see, hear, taste, touch, feel, and smell from anywhere, because
Yes.
a sense is just an interpretation of a vibration. It's your consciousness that is seeing, not
Right.
your eyes.
So,
Right.
Your eyes have trained your consciousness to see in the rainbow spectrum. That's all they've done. But they've served their purpose at a certain point, and you can learn to see without eyes. It's your
Absolutely.
soul that's
Yes.
memorizing,
so
how to
Beth,
do these.
Yes,
So, Beth.
absolutely. You and I could talk for
I know.
hours.
Oh,
I just
absolutely.
want to,
I know.
because everything he's saying. Oh my gosh.
But
Okay, go
Beth,
on.
but you
Yeah.
guys, see what Michael's saying, and tell me this is what you do too.
Yeah.
Is when he does his energy work, he actually puts himself, he puts his consciousness, whether in something else or into the tree, into the
Yes.
object into the wind, into the
Yes.
object that he's manipulating. So his consciousness, how science. This is the science part I love about what in fact, I like you. I could talk to Michael forever, and
Yes.
and he's come on up and
There's
going to stay
not
with us
enough
for a while.
time.
But there's not enough time. That's why I love that. I love my
I'm
one.
going to be up there for Thanksgiving.
I know,
so
yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's
Okay.
having Thanksgiving with us. So.
Aw.
But I mean, I love my one-on-one time with Michael. It's just transformational. But and he actually puts his consciousness, and this is what everyone can do,
Right.
into whatever object outside, projected outside that we're creating, manifesting anyway, right?
Right.
And so he's experiencing that object's consciousness. He's almost like you're blending two consciousnesses together, and then that's how he's able to manipulate the energy of whether it's wind or whether it's knowing what the tree's doing or whatever the other person, whatever. Can you
It
guys
be-
go a little further
it,
into that?
It becomes really second nature, and I know it does for him. You're not even having to go through that whole process of thinking about it.
Yeah.
You just are everything. I don't know if y'all remember, but on some of my previous shows, I told you how I had a glimpse of this, what he's talking about, this blending of everyone together. And it literally, when I saw it physically with my eyes, it wasn't even in my mind's eye. Everything literally just zoomed in like this and it was like a grid and became all one. And everything, you could see everything between each other, into each other at the exact same time. And I only got to hold the vision for seconds, but I was like, it just shocked me. I've seen it twice now. And that, not just in my mind's eye, but it made me realize, oh my gosh, what he's saying is absolutely true.
How does that work? How do you blend?
There's no dimension.
But how do you blend consciousness together? I don't understand how that works.
Well, because okay, so I'll simplify it. So have you ever gone to a concert, a crowded concert or something, and your friend is 18 rows down, but you want him to see that you're sitting up 18 rows up. And you just think about them and you look at them. Have you ever noticed they just turn around and
Yeah,
look at
yeah,
you
yeah,
and they
yeah.
know
Oh,
you?
yes.
They could be looking the other direction. What do you think that is? That, of course, that's energy reaching energy.
Feel someone looking at you.
So,
Yeah.
so
I mean,
Michael,
it's a
Michael,
no-brainer.
is there a specific formula how consciousness blends with each other, or is it more like like electrons interfacing with each other, and it's I mean, break it on down for us.
Well, it's more like, is there a specific formula that allows consciousness to perceive that they are separated from
Yes.
each other?
Yes, that's exactly
And that's
right.
what happened here on Earth, because
Right.
that's just the norm.
Right.
I mean, in spiritual reality, the interconnectivity, the oneness, the one mind of God in all things is the most basic absolute fact in all of existence. This experience that we've created here, where we're able to perceive that I'm me, you're you, you're not a part of me, I'm not a part of you, who's God, who the hell knows,
Yeah.
this is miraculous that we've done this.
Right. It's
And
more
we've done it
complicated.
for many reasons. That's a whole topic on itself, but we've achieved our goal. So now it's time to, while we hold on to our individuality, to remake those spiritual connections. And we don't want oneness to be to a point where we become all one. We want to be as one. So we're going to hold on to our individuality,
Right.
yet at the same point, there's going to be an intermingled collective consciousness that we're also aware of. To use numbers like this, I've seen similar visions to Beth, and then I've questioned God or the source over it, like, what the hell? I don't want to become a hive mind. Like, this doesn't sound good to me.
Right.
And what was conveyed to me was that the numbers, it was like 67% of your conscious awareness will be tuned to your own individual and separated self, and that about 37% will be dedicated to the interconnected web of collective consciousness. And this is on the completed Earth. And on the completed Earth, we don't have government. The collective consciousness is the government,
Right.
and it's perfect. And you just would naturally never do any individual action that would be damaging to that collective, because the collective's a part of your being.
You're talking
So
about
it's-
heaven on earth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, so
we gave it that title.
so what do
but
we do on heaven on
Right.
earth? What would it look like?
Exactly what he said.
Well, I mean, the formula. I get the
it's-
formula, but
okay,
like, what would day to day look like?
well,
If there's
for-
no government, there's no where our collective consciousness is making decisions on a telepathic, interconnected. I mean, what do we do?
Well,
I mean,
I think our abilities are surpass anything you can imagine and think
Right.
of, to the point of it's almost hard for us to even describe what it could be like, because our work will be a different agenda. I mean, we're here experiencing this in this very moment right now.
well,
for a
what's going to happen to
reason.
football?
What's gonna happen to LeBron James?
Well, I mean, some of the basic things that you guys are funny. I'm sorry. I'm trying to have a sense of humor, but this is very serious. Some of the things I know to be true in my lifetime, I know we'll experience, the levitation and the flying. I know that we
I
will.
am looking forward to
Yes.
that. I've
But-
always believed in my lifetime
Yes, I do
that
too.
would be possible.
And I know that we're also going to go back to our natural state of telepathic speaking and speaking with
animals,
thought,
yeah.
and that and that's a natural thing. And I know that we'll be able to see through our eyelids. That's just a physical thing in the way, but we actually can see. I've dreamed that, and I know I've felt that. And, there's just so many things that are kind of out of your scope of awareness at this moment that you can't imagine. But I imagine that the reason why we're living in that moment, those agendas will change, and so that whole life will look a little different, because we don't know that yet, what that is.
So we won't miss out on our little
No.
idiosyncrasies
No.
and our vices and things that we
No.
feel like we can only have fun with, right?
No, because
like
evolution
playing blackjack.
always gets
Playing
better.
blackjack won't be such a drive. The need for playing
Right.
blackjack, right, or whatever.
I mean,
gambling
that's
and-
part of the evolution. I think everything gets better. Everything moves forward. It does.
I better get my blackjack in now. Then, if that's going to change in here.
I'm not as eloquent with words as Michael is, but Michael, you're feeling me, right? I mean,
Yeah, well, your ideas of pleasure are going to
Yes.
change
Thank you.
into things that are far more pleasurable. And I've seen visions of this too. And one of the visions I saw was a group of 100 energy masters holding hands in what looked to be like downtown Bronx of like New York or Brooklyn. And
it's
they
in the
held
house.
hands connected with energy, and they dissolved these nasty industrial buildings, just
Wow.
and then erected nature in its place. I saw grass and I'm getting goosebumps. Grass and trees
awesome.
growing up. We're going to have the ability to manifest matter, which is the huge one. There's going to be a new breed of weathermen, and they're not going to be predictors of the weather. They're going to be creators of it. They'll work worldwide, and they'll manage the weather with their thoughts and with their mind and keep everything in balance. And they'll just tell you how the weather's going to be, because they're going to be creating it that way.
No more chemtrails.
Yeah, no more of that. But it's going to go in stages. So
Yeah.
people always look forward to the power and to the abilities, and there's some of that available right now. I do teach some telekinetics and other things, but really what humanity needs right now is connection. We
Yes.
have enough power. We have enough power to blow up the world 10 times over. What we need is an sense of interconnectivity. We need to understand that the world is an extension of our very body, that it's a part of our soul. We need to be aware that each other, the other people, are extensions of our very own self, that the state of the planet and the individual happiness of every other person is directly related to each person's internal happiness. And in this way, we can start elevating everybody into joy. And as we do this, each individual is going to notice their own joy,
Yes, yes.
increasing. We live to feel, Tim, and it's just time to get down to the brass tacks of that. We live to feel. There's no other reason to live, but we're stuck in a third dimensional way of getting heightened feelings. So
We're
we
not
seek
stuck.
that next job
We're not
promotion.
stuck.
We seek that next new car, the next
Yeah,
iPhone, the next
yeah.
computer,
Right.
the next sexual experience, the next chemical intoxication. You name it. We're chasing events in space-time in order to feel a certain way. But once you're tuned to your internal energy and you're able to control it through your emotional centers, you can just decide how you want to feel, and then the space-time events get manifested from that. So we're like a dog chasing
Yes.
its tail, because it's the
Cyclic.
feelings that create the events yet we're relying on the events to feel a certain way.
Wow.
So it's like gambling blackjack with
Yeah.
a blindfold, except it's your life that you're handing out in the cards. So we're going to reverse that. We're going to feel great by experiencing what's naturally always there. Heartbeat. With enough sensitivity, with enough connection to your own radiant electromagnetic heartbeat, you can sit in this chair and feel a pleasure beyond anything a regular person that hasn't tuned could even imagine. Sunlight. How many people know what it feels like to be sunlight? To actually expand past the body, go into the sunlight, and feel its particles.
I
Like
haven't felt that yet.
there's so much joy and amazing sensations available right here, right now.
You won't
to
care.
anybody who can tune in.
Football will seem like something that's just silly at that time because you're actually experiencing consciousness of sunlight. There's no comparison. You can't even compare watching a football game or experiencing consciousness of sunlight. I mean, honestly,
I'd like to see what the sports are going to look like when we get there. You know what I mean?
Jesse, you got to let it go, baby.
It'll be like
Jesse, let it go, baby.
What's
let
that,
it go.
What's that game that Harry Potter played where
Yeah,
everybody was actually
Quidditch.
Yeah, it'll be more like
Yeah.
Quidditch.
But
We got to go to a break, guys.
Yeah,
though.
gotta go break,
Let's
yeah.
go to a break. This is so exciting, and
I
I don't
know.
want to stop. We'll
I
be
know.
right back with Michael Monk. Thank you. All right, we're back. Jesse, can we just have like 4 more hours? Michael, I'm so appreciate you joining us and teaching us, and I'm an honor to be in your presence, and I just really appreciate it. We've never met before, and this is our first meeting, but I can feel that that connection immediately, and I can feel your
I really
energy.
appreciate that. I mean, as you said that, I got a very warm and upward vibration so I know what you were feeling as you said that. So that was very much from your heart. So thank you.
I appreciate that. One of the things that I would like to debunk, Tim, is that this is not meant for everyone. Most people think that they're not eligible for this.
Yeah.
And they have put themselves in this box that's very limited. And, one of the things that I would encourage that I'm receiving through Channel now to say to everyone is that even modern medicine, even, integrative holistic medicine, even healing modalities, guys, we got to get out of the boxes. You have to think beyond that. There is so much more that is there for us, and we are all privileged to have that ability. It's just a matter of tuning in and feeling it, getting that connection, like Michael said earlier, because you're cutting yourself off. And I'm just going to disagree with you that we're stuck in it. We're not. It's a choice. It's a choice. We're not stuck. And it's just a matter of deciding I want to have more. I want to feel these things.
Turn the TV off.
And we came
Put the
here,
cell phone down. Those are choices, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. And just
Contact
even,
Michael Monk at his
Yes.
website. That's a choice too, is right?
and even making the choice of I want to practice this type of healing work, or I believe only in organic foods, or I only believe in herbal medicines, or I only believe in modern medicines. Those are all boxes. You're cutting yourself off to so many gifts and so much that we have available to us that, I picture all our spiritual souls going, wait a minute, we want to give you more, but you're saying, no, this is all you recognize. So I'm saying we've just got to open up and be more open.
I'm not stopping until I'm sunlight. I'll tell you, that's my new goal
Right,
in life. I'm
right.
going to become sunlight, experiencing humanity. That's what I'm going to be doing.
It starts with love, and I think Michael would agree with that. One of the root ingredients for this is love, and don't take love for face value. It's a feeling. You know what I mean? It's a feeling unlike any feeling you could imagine.
Right.
Love is not just a word.
The most powerful emotion,
Absolutely.
essence there is love.
Absolutely. And I know Michael would agree with me that most of us think in this box of our decisions are only based on love or fear. And really that is the third dimension. So whenever we make decisions here, if we make them out of fear, first of all, you're never going to be in the right situation. So if you make all decisions out of love, even thinking out of love, you can't mess up. You just can't. And sometimes, like he said, things still may happen, but it happens. But if you still counteract it with that love and that energy, you're going to rectify it, and whatever we're supposed to get out of that will happen as well. And Michael, would you like to add to that? I don't want to be on a soapbox here, but
No, it's all right.
he's got to drink water after that. Are we stuck,
Yeah,
Michael?
something I'd like to add to that is that fear and love are interpretations of
Right.
energy. They're not the energy itself. So you can choose to just to give an analogy, a surfer can go out to the ocean for a day, and there's huge waves. Now, the swimmers that came there with their little kids for their family would look at those waves and see fear. But this pro surfer would look at that and see love. So as energy radiates through it, there is no fear unless your consciousness chooses to be afraid of it. And what fear is you constricting a very powerful energy. It's all love.
Right.
So God is everything, right? That's a
Right.
common core spiritual belief that the true God is all that is, all that is. Another common core spiritual belief is that God is love. And I think we can all agree on that. God is everything. God is love. So, hello, what else can possibly exist
Right.
besides love? Otherwise,
right.
you got to ditch those first two beliefs, which I don't think anybody's going to do. So a big part of what I teach and what I encourage people is to open up wider, stop constricting things, and you're going to see more and more that it's all love, and it's your interpretation of something that changes it into something else. But it's all God, and it's all love. And we just need the right eyes and the right eye
Right.
to see it.
Dr. Wayne Dyer always said, change your perception, change your reality.
Well, we are. We are. This non-heaven on earth we're experiencing right now is a crisis of perception.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
the crisis is not the crisis in the world when you hear about the wars and things like that. It's our perception of these
Yes.
wars. It's our perception of the energy, like you, Michael, you eloquently said, is the energy that we give it. We give it a fear frequency, and we could easily give this hurricane situation, which we did,
Yes.
a love frequency, did we not?
Right,
We could. We
exactly.
first thing, like my mom was a worrier. You know, when she was alive, she worried me, and I would only
My mom is
and instinctively, after over time, I learned not to tell her anything, anything
Yes.
bad that happened to
Yeah.
me, because what she would have done. One, my instinct was not to tell her because I didn't want her worrying, but
Exactly.
what she would do was she'd pile on to my fear and my concern, and it was like a pile on, and the less I told her, the more happy she was, and the more we had a greater interaction, and the less problems I had. You know?
Absolutely. I'm there with you.
So when you have something disastrous happen, like we said, in circling around here, the hurricane, yes, Michael, you hit it around the nose. Hold your love vibration and don't deny it. Don't stick your head in the sand. Now, knowing that everything is love and it's all interpretation of fear, don't go to the fear. Knowing that, just intellectually knowing that, and then you, like you said, you could bring it to your heart, and then feel it, and then go into that situation with love, and now you're adding. And you're raising the vibration of that experience rather than bringing it down to that level.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I know you're going to close us out here, Beth, but wow, Michael, this has been one incredible show. In fact, if you guys haven't sharing this on Facebook, sharing it on your Spreaker, just start sharing this everywhere. Honestly, if we could get this to the top power brokers out there, change some perspectives, change their perceptions on things, boy, we could change this world overnight, couldn't we? For the better?
That's the goal. I mean, and this isn't woo-woo. This is real.
This is science
Yeah.
too. This is science. This hasn't our scientific method, three-dimensional method, may not be able to analyze this multi-dimensional experience we're having, but there will be science that will be able to catch up eventually. I would assume.
Eventually, yeah.
I'm hearing something from you. What did you just say in your mind about real? The word. It was a trigger word. Real.
Oh, well, that there's no such thing as not real.
Gotcha. Can you explain that? We got a couple of minutes. Can you explain that real quick?
If something can
I
even
heard
be
you.
imagined, then it's automatically created on the spot. As humans, we have a digital thinking for real. So something's either real or not real, but there's no such thing as not real. It goes in gradients. How real is it? And that has to do with the density or the compression level of energy. So there's spirit worlds all around us, just like Earth right now, but they're made of a lighter energy. They're real, but they're not as real as Earth. We can experience them when we let go of ourselves, when we sleep at night, and we go into a spirit form, which is less real than the body. But it's just important to understand. I mean, I could say a lot about this, but there's different levels of realism. There's no such thing as not real, because even if you've just imagined it on the spot, then it was created and exists in some level.
That's amazing. I heard his mind. I heard his wheels
I'm
turning.
so glad you pulled that out, because that is just
Yeah, it's powerful.
incredible.
Thank you, Michael.
Everything is real.
Yeah, it is. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, thank you for changing that perception for me.
Different densities. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate
Wow.
that. I've learned a lot from you sitting here. So thank you very, 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 very much.
That honors me.
Wow. Well, we're out of time. This has been such a fast show, and I swear I could talk to you every week. But if you guys want to reach Michael again, you can reach him on
Tell him, Michael.
Yeah, let him know, Michael.
AvatarEnergyMaster.com, just like it sounds. So AVATAR for avatar, just like the Hindu word, and then Energy Master as all one word.com. I have a YouTube channel with lots of video demonstrations and
great.
some lectures that I do, and then you can find me on Facebook, and I'm I'll communicate with you if you want to send me an email or a message on Facebook, and check out my energy course. I give a 7-day free trial. If what I was teaching wasn't real, that would be the last thing I would do.
I think I'm going to be
But
signing
it
up
is
for that.
real. You can try it out for free for 7 days, so
Wow.
give it a shot. And I also do healing work and activations, activating clairvoyance and higher consciousness in people. And I've actually got a decent amount of free time for the next 2 months that will probably be the last of it, so it might be a good time to take advantage of that.
I could always
you're
use an
interested.
enhancement, so I'll be signing up for you, and I'm definitely going to be checking out your YouTube videos because I haven't seen any of your work until today.